Okay, so here it is, Wednesday again. And we're going to talk about culturalization. Uh,
So we have Eric Ashley Sr. in the front of the camera, and we got Terry Lee Whetstone behind the camera.
um, we've been talking about culturalization before we started filming and trying to pin it down to a solid definition, which we really couldn't. But a good example would be what's going on right now in Ukraine. You have Russia, which is a oligarchy with a crazy rich guy running the show, trying to shove his culture of expansionism and empire building and warmongering down the throats of the Ukraine people, who are basically just want to be left alone to go about their daily business, and they don't want to be involved in all that. So that's one form of culturalization, which is probably its most heinous form. When you have a dictator like that just is insane, for lack of any other better term. It's when one group of people move into a new area and try to impose their cultural beliefs on the people who are already there, which is what happened here in the U.S. It's happened in most countries around the world by now. Our way of life has spread all around the world. Clothing, the commercialism, cars, all that was mostly a American type culture in the 40s and 50s, spread around the world now. So that's one way cultures get exported, is through manufactured goods and movies and TV and whatnot.
Even through the foods.
Even through foods, yeah. I mean, you can't go swing a dead cat without seeing a different kind of restaurant, Here in Terry's little town of Odessa, there's, a couple of Mexican restaurants. Didn't there used to be a Thai place?
No? Hadn't been a Thai.
Oh, okay.
I wish there was.
Was there a Chinese place down the next little town over? Yeah.
Well, there's one right on Main Street here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Our second street, which is Main Street.
Yeah. So, yeah, through food, just all kinds of ways. But it's a really hard subject to kind of nail down to one act or one thing. Like with assimilation, with native people, that was pretty much one kind of activity, Culturalization, though, it runs, through everything, it's just everything. The world's a melting pot now, and so you get all these other cultures mixing in now. It not used to not be that way, but so it's really hard to talk about.
Kind of hard to tell what culture is what, because Italians, they didn't have a red sauce. They had white sauce until they found out about our tomato.
Yeah, so, cultural appropriation maybe.
There we go.
And then there's that, which is pretty big in the news, cultural appropriation. I won't get into that because that's a can of worms I don't want to look at.
This is the third subject that we're highlighting on. Next week we will finish up with the fourth one.
And you're always welcome to comment on these, if you have an idea or a comment on it, to be part of the conversation. That's great, part of our culture is language too, because so many words come from other languages. You use Spanish in your everyday language, you don't even think about it. So cultures are just so wide and broad to talk about. It's just hard to. I mean, there's cults, which is part of culture. There's a lot of those. Some of them are scarier than others, you know. But there's Dusty. He had to get in here and say hi, get his little back scratch. But yeah, culture is such an odd thing when you sit and think about it, you know, what defines a culture, you know.
We've made our world a kind of a melting pot.
Yeah, we have, which is not a bad thing, you know. Some countries, which almost happened here, become isolationists, like China and Japan did early on in the 18th century. You know, they didn't want anybody to come over. And they kept it that way for a long, long time. So when people did finally go there, the exchange of technology was amazing, you know. And we got technology from them, but they got a lot of different stuff that they'd never heard of from us. So, be kind of like when the aliens come, you know, they'll show us some new stuff and then probably eliminate us all.
Another good example of that is the automobile world.
Yeah.
Your daughter had that situation. They haven't resolved that, have they yet?
Yeah.
They finally got her chip for her automobile?
No, she got a different car.
Oh, got a different car. Okay. But, you know, I read where we used to make our own chips. And then that became an outsourcing product for many, many different reasons, which...
Money.
Mostly that's the fact.
Yeah.
Money. Cheaper labor.
Because those cultures are different. They value labor differently.
Yeah.
You know? And they have a different type of economy. But it has to do with value too. And the culture, you know, they don't value their workers the same way they are in most first world countries. A lot of workers are overpaid, you know, to do things. Baseball players, football players, soccer players, the list goes on.
Sports.
Yeah, basically sports. But that's another culture. You know, you have that sports culture. So we could probably spend years talking about culture and really never get anywhere. But I think with this documentary, the part of culturalization we're going to be going for is how the people that came to certain countries that we'll be talking about forced their culture on the indigenous people there. And, you know, basically made it against the law for them to be what they were, you know, and how they lived. So, any other wise words on culture?
I think it's a hard subject as this started out
It is.
to talk about. And
I usually talk about anything.
And at this level, I think we've probably we may have muddied up the water even more.
Probably.
And people understanding. But I think it will all pull together once we actually can put out documentaries, which again, there's going to be no time frame.
No, because it might take a year.
On this, just to get one done.
Yeah.
Just to cover the USA could take us a year, maybe a year and a half. Who knows in that range?
Yeah.
And it'll take us at least that long for each country that we do. A year and a half, whatever. Yeah. Maybe longer in other countries because we don't know as much.
Yeah.
We know of our own.
And we're poor, so traveling's expensive.
Very expensive.
But we're happy. You know, poor and happy. So.
Poor and happy. So we'll wrap this one up. And like I said, this is the third week. Next week we'll finish this up. We'll be headed towards start working on the documentary, starting with the USA, over covering the 4 subjects. We hope then to be able to present some fun stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe get some laughs.
We're going to have this guy. His name's Luke Warmwater. Is going to be joining us. It's a very interesting character. You've never met anybody like him before, I promise. But he's going to be appearing in a few weeks, I would say. Yeah. He's got a busy schedule, so
we're trying to get him tied down to
a performance.
Yeah.
Literally tied down.
Yep. So
it sounds kinkier than it is.
So however you pray or talk to spirits or creator or whatever your higher force is, this world we need to pray.
Yeah.
Not just for Ukraine, but for the world.
Everywhere.
For the world.
Because that guy over there's a nut. And, you know, when you put your nuclear arsenal on high alert, that's not a good sign. That's pretty scary.
So,
yeah, ask prayers for peace.
Yes.
And a lot of prayers for those guys in Ukraine.
Yeah, for the people.
Yeah.
The innocent ones.
All of them. Even the Russian soldiers that don't want to be there.
Yeah, they're all a part of this.
The ones that have been captured have been apologizing. They weren't aware that that's what was going on. They weren't even told, some of them, that they were invading another country. They were just told it was a military exercise. So ask a lot of prayers for those guys.
And that's another little point I would like to say there is, in our culture, you always praise your enemy. And you care about your enemy. Not just your own bloodline or your own nation or family of peoples.
Yeah. We pray for our enemies.
Yeah. As Eric just said, you know, they don't want to be there. They don't want to be doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
And if they turn around and say no, they're probably going to be 6 foot under.
Or in prison for 20 to 25 years, 30 years.
Yeah.
You know,
so.
And they're all, the ones they've been interviewing are kids. You know, they're 18, 19, 20 years old. I think the oldest one I saw was 22, you know. And they're scared out of their minds, you know. But they don't have a choice. You know, I've been in the military. I know how you sometimes don't have a choice. So, ask lots of prayers for all them guys fighting over there. And for our guys that are going over there now. Anybody involved and all them families, just keep them in your prayers.
And other countries that are getting involved.
Well, the whole world is now.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Well, we'll leave you with, of course, what we always have to say.
Wear your mask, get your vaccines, try to stay healthy. If you get wealthy, call us. Call us if you don't, but if you do, make sure and call.
We'll help show you how to spend it.
Yeah, we can show you some cool places.
Signing off.
All right, adios, and we'll talk to you next time.